Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Finally, Friday, right around the corner, Zach.
It's coming up.
My goodness. This has been a tough forecast over the last several days. This Arctic air has been just annoying.
Yeah, and it is here.
Yeah, it's
And to
cold.
stay, maybe.
I got to show you something. We had some pretty incredible temperature gradients today where there was like basically almost a 20-degree difference in just a few
Yeah,
miles.
it was wild.
And what was wild is temperatures were in the 60s. Now, I don't know if we get there on Saturday. We're going to take you through all of it. You might have seen a cryptic post that I did on social media, and a lot of people are like, can you explain it to me like I'm 5 years old? The point was, number one, I wanted to see if people can understand this stuff. Obviously, that was a little more of a technical post, but basically, to make a long story short, it's the computer models comparing similar weather systems by looking at analogs and determining what dates match up with the type of weather conditions that are expected according to the computer models. I wasn't doing the jawline like all the young kids do. I just had an itch, just to let you know. I wasn't doing.
Thank you for clarifying.
What is that called again? Do you know?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, people know. Some people know. The younger people know, and they go like, and then they have the jawline. Anyways, I had an itch. What I was talking about is that's called an analog, and the analog for the top five, the fifth that matches the most of this weather pattern was essentially that 2009 mewing. That's what it is. It's mewing. Yes, it's mewing. It's mewing. That's what it's called. I remember now. Anyways, the analog was showing a similar weather pattern to the 2009 ice storm. That doesn't mean 2009 is going to happen again next week, but it just says that, hey, we got to watch this closely. Check this out. The temperatures this morning at 6 a.m., 64 and then 10 degrees colder in Bentonville. Now, if we put this into motion, look at this at about 11 o'clock, 69 degrees, Zach. It was a little toasty, but it was 48 in Rogers, just a little dry.
That was a record.
Yeah, we didn't even realize that. 69 was a record high, breaking the record only 1 year ago today.
And that was 68.
That was 68, exactly.
So, yeah, record warmth.
How about that? And I think someone's putting a fire torch to the sensor. I don't know. I only had 65 at my house.
Yeah, Springdale, 57, Fayetteville.
Now, I know there was the front. There was a little bit of precipitation that was out there, but look at that front drop in and look at the cold weather coming. Now, here's the deal. Our temperature forecast is going to be a lot different from what you might have seen earlier because Arctic air, it's pretty strong and it's coming through. Now, look at that front, Zach. That's pretty impressive. Look at 78 in Russellville, 48 in Grove.
Can't get much stronger
30
than that.
degrees colder. That's the crazy. 48, 58, 68, 78. That's it's insane. That's a big time temperature difference and what you call a gradient. You're talking about forecasting a high. You're like, well, it depends on where you live. But we got to get to the winter weather, and in order to do that, we got to talk about the cold weather because it's cold right now, and the cold front that's coming in means business. Let's go back in time here a little bit on the NAM. So right now, it's showing at 9 o'clock, temperatures will be in the lower 40s, wind chills are in the mid 30s. Now, Zach, why are we looking at the NAM?
Well, the NAM seems to do the best with these shallow, cold Arctic air masses.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been looking at the European model, and we know that's too mild.
It's got to be.
Because usually that's the case with it. And we were looking at over the weekend, and it was showing some mild weather, and we're kind of thinking different.
Yeah, I think so. And when I looked at the NAM this morning, I called Josh. I was like, throw out that polar plunge forecast and dump it in the toilet because it was way too warm. I kind of had my doubts a little bit, but I was wishful thinking that it would warm up. No way would it get to. If it gets to 70, I'm going to be. Well, Drake Field will probably get to 70.
Yeah,
because that temperature seems.
Hey, I would be all for it.
Yeah, I would be all for it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Now, see, it's 45 right now. So let's go to the NAM. What it currently shows is 42. So it's a little colder than what it actually is, but still it's pretty close. Now, here's this cold air that continues to plow south. Arctic air, it's like a runaway freight train. It's like an immovable force. So you've got 41 in Fayetteville for tomorrow morning, 39 in Rogers, and look at the winds. East at 16. That's frigid. Wind chills will be around freezing. Then we move along in time, Friday afternoon. That doesn't get very warm. Let me go back here a little bit. Look at that. 42, 43, and we're going for a high of what, about 47? Might be underdone, might be overdone there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because
We probably
we
will
think
adjust.
it's going to be cloudy throughout most of the day, maybe even some rain tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um,
that's another thing too. The rain has been difficult to forecast. Now here's the NAM 3 kilometer that is showing a little bit of a warm up, low 50s. I could buy that. I could buy low 50s. And then it goes a little bit warmer than that into the mid 50s. But remember, that cold air, it's starting to plow south. Now, look at us in the mid 50s and then look at Fort Smith. And it's that easterly drainage wind.
yeah.
But I don't understand why it wouldn't be more of an easterly wind for us. So if it is south, it's going to warm us up. But I don't know. I don't buy it. And then watch what happens Saturday afternoon. Boom. That's the plowing of the cold air. And now at this point, when that cold air really starts to dive in, oh, you're starting to see some purples showing up. And here's Sunday morning in the upper 20s. And that's exactly what Zach's got, upper 20s. So why are we showing you this? Because it leads into Sunday night, into Monday and Tuesday. Because if it's colder than expected, then the European that shows only liquid precipitation will probably be more of a frozen variety. So that's going to throw off all of the totals. That easterly drainage wind in the river valley. So if we sum up the temperature forecast, this is what we've got. We got mid to upper 40s to lower 50s. If we look at, and rain chances will basically be continuing on and off. Here is your river valley forecast showing, mid to upper 40s and it gets up to upper 50s on Saturday. I could buy that farther south unless that easterly wind happens. Zach, we're going to have to adjust that. There's huge bust potential with the temperatures, and that's just the bottom line on that. So let me show you where we're at with this weather system. By the way, some pretty impressive tornadoes that were in eastern Kentucky, and we're doing a lot of research on this critical angle, and we got a couple of really awesome photographs that were showing up.
Yeah, we were seeing that earlier. Yeah, some severe weather going on still in Tennessee right now. East of Knoxville. Show that.
Show that. And then I'm going to throw in some of those photographs that I made. And you can bring that up on Mega Doppler.
Yeah, so here's Mega Doppler. Again, not in Arkansas. We're in Tennessee. This is the Knoxville area. And you can see severe weather going on. Yeah, earlier during the evening, there was multiple tornado warnings. Right now, there's just one warning. You can see it well east of Knoxville now, moving to the southeast by the Marshall area. So, yeah.
Okay.
You see that.
So now that you're seeing that, let me go ahead and I'll present this real quick. Share screen. We're going to share share a file. Oh, can I not do that? Hold on. Let me do it this way. This will be easier to do. Just go here. New plot. Okay, there we go. I could just share it off of Paint. That's just the way we're going to have to do it. So a little old school, but I could do that. So if I go to Window, share it off of Paint. So here is the critical angle right here. That's pretty impressive photograph. This was towards the end of the life cycle of the tornado, and the reason for that is because it essentially was starting to veer. The winds are starting to veer, but critical angle is still around 80 degrees. I don't really have time to get into what the critical angle is, but this is our new photograph tool that Denton Sachs and Tyler Costantini, myself, are developing. I'm kind of coming up with the ideas, and someone else is doing the coding. But I've always felt the critical angle has never been calculated properly, and this will help basically determine tornado potential. So we'll talk about the winter weather forecast, but I just wanted to show you that. And then I'm going to bring up one that was really impressive when the storms were ongoing and actually tornadoing. So this will be a little bit earlier. I guess I only have one. I have one that I took a snapshot of, but anyways, some cool stuff that we're doing there. That's something that's happening. And Josh, by the way, we figured out the reason that it's going to be glitchy on the video. It's all about the sequence of events and how you open the program. So we figured it out. Oh, and then it glitched. Why do you do that to me?
Hey, how about just don't talk about the glitch?
Don't talk about the glitch. Have you ever seen the movie Wreck-It Ralph?
I've heard of it. I feel like I have.
The girl is the glitch.
Oh,
And she glitches, and that's her secret power. So she could be driving, all of a sudden she glitches, and she's the head of everybody.
oh,
Yeah, and racing. It's pretty cool. Going back to this. All right. So here's the satellite and radar. Big weather system. That's happening. Immediate glitch, of course. I know, exactly. Why am I talking about that all the time? So satellite and radar shows a lot of energy off to the west. This is the problem with this type of weather pattern. We know the Arctic air is going to be stronger than what's expected, especially with global models. We start getting into the higher resolution models, and they have a better idea on the strength of the cold air. Here's a look at the jet stream. Zach, this is such an active weather pattern because there's going to be multiple pieces of energy. And this, by the way, is a deeper trough than what it was showing yesterday. And this is what we call a positively tilted trough. So if we were to divide this trough in half, guess what? We're going to divide it in half like this. If you're walking from left to right, you're walking uphill. That takes more energy, and you'll be slower to travel across the screen if it's uphill like that. That's a pretty stout positively tilted trough. So what does this mean? That means constant fetch of moisture from the Pacific. It also means that there's going to be plenty of time for southerly winds to evolve to bring in that warm layer of air that will take the wintry precipitation and turn it to a mix. Now we've got more energy swinging in. Not only that, but jet coupling that's happening over us. And there's still a little bit of uncertainty, exact location and amounts and all that fun stuff. But look at this energy that swings in Wednesday.
another wave.
Another wave. And then guess what? Another wave.
And this is when we say, oh no, southwest flow.
Yeah.
This is the type of deal here.
Because you have multiple pieces of energy. Now, that's the jet stream. What's the spins in the atmosphere looking like with this? Here you got, there's some of that energy coming in Monday night and the Tuesday morning. If you're wondering what's the time of all this, we're going to break that down for you in just a bit. But we just wanted to show you that you have to understand there's going to be multiple disturbances coming through. Models aren't going to be able to pick up on the disturbances perfectly. They're not going to know exactly when it's going to be raining and when it's not. They also don't have an idea on how cold it's going to be or potentially how cold it's going to be. But look at this system coming in Wednesday. This is when the European is cranking out some crazy ice amounts, by the way. If you live in Newton County, I see Deanna on here. Oh, Deanna, how are you doing? Haven't seen her in a while. That's pretty cool. Maybe it's the time a little bit earlier on the live stream. But Donetta, who is in Deer, right? In Deer in Newton County. I want to say that's who it is. She always asks about Deer and about those areas in Newton County could be the bullseye of the heavy precipitation. Here is a look at more energy that swings in. And then look at that. That just provides more precipitation potentially. Look at that system. Do you see that? And if that comes in when it's cold and that Arctic air doesn't move anywhere, that's even more energy that's swinging in. Now, I've always shown the European. The GFS has a lot of energy too. Should we check that out?
Yeah.
I think we should. So let's look at the GFS. This is the GFS amount of spins in the atmosphere. Again, a different long-range model. And you'll notice here, there's more energy moving in, and we're starting it next week, essentially. Honestly, there could be lift already by Sunday night, and I'll show you some of the high-resolution models are starting to show that. My goodness, look at all of those disturbances. And mesoscale, meteorology that's going to cause some intense lift. So there's one system that comes through Monday night into Tuesday. There's another system that comes in Wednesday into Thursday. There's another system that comes in Thursday into Friday. There's another system that comes in Friday into Saturday. Are you kidding me?
And then after that, finally, a ridge.
Finally, a ridge. Finally, it breaks down. Yeah. And we start to see when the jet stream rides high, the weather will be nice and dry.
Yeah.
But not this week.
Not
All right.
until like 10 days from now.
So let's show you how that is going to basically evolve over time, according to the latest. So here's the future track model. And you'll notice that number one, this is the European. European is too warm. The freezing line at the surface is all the way up here on Sunday night. And I'm just like, I hesitate to think that's what it's going to be. There's precipitation. But at this point, the precipitation is really just liquid because it's not frozen, whereas the GFS already has freezing rain. Now, here's the system moving out by Tuesday afternoon because that was that part of the energy. Then we move along in time. We'll step through. Remember, that next system that's coming in is on Wednesday, so maybe a little glancing blow on Monday night into Tuesday morning. And then a bigger system that comes through Wednesday, starting in the morning. This is where the European really hammers Boone and Newton County with a tremendous amount of ice. Then you'll see here, as we move along, more ice. Now, the river valley is too mild. But the problem is that, remember, this could all shift south. We could be in the freezing rain to sleet to snow area. And Little Rock gets the freezing rain with the cold air coming in. That's a possibility.
In that Monday wave, we could be in the ice.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I was actually texting Todd Jacoby, and he thinks, that cold air could be stronger. It could be farther south. Models typically underestimate it. There'll be trends to show you how the precipitation is shifting south. And then that would put us in the sleet and snow area. Not as serious because we won't have the ice accumulation, but still serious in terms of impacts and travel concerns. Either way, we're getting winter weather of some kind. I truly believe that. Okay, back to the European. We'll step forward in time. We'll see what this does. So there's that system starting to move out. And then all of a sudden, by Thursday late morning, it moves out. And I don't think there's anything else beyond. Yeah, see, it's too warm. But it shows a system. It's just too warm. Now on to the GFS, which, believe it or not, the GFS is actually the stronger of the two. And look, it already has precipitation Sunday night. So Super Bowl Sunday in the evening, there's a risk that we're already starting to see some freezing drizzle in higher elevations. I think, Zach, we're going to be seeing this.
Yeah. I kind of have a feeling, with this pattern, the cold air is here. Yeah. All this energy is moving in. Like, we know the models don't do a good job with all this energy and this pattern. So I think there will be some surprises.
There will be.
And I think this, I don't want to, overhype anything, but I think the event has potential to overperform than what the models show.
Yeah, I would agree with that because of that southwest flow, pieces of energy, and the amount of lift. So look at this. This has freezing rain Monday night into Tuesday, whereas the European didn't. It was too warm. Look at all that snow to the north. And on top of that, that mix will be freezing rain and sleet.
That's a pretty heavy rain, too.
Oh, that's really heavy.
There's a lot of, moisture.
Yeah.
And that could be some heavy freezing rain.
I know. That's almost of a convective type, to be honest with you. And I don't know if you've seen this or not. Check this out, Zach. Bring up a screen share, and I'm going to show you the day 5 excessive rainfall forecast. I'm good with those buttons there. All right.
That'll work.
Let's see here. Try it. Well, you got to actually, in order to do it, you got to open it up first.
Oh,
that's okay. Share. All right. So here's a look at the excessive rainfall forecast, and this is for day 5. So this is essentially Monday into Tuesday. As we look at this here, scroll down. Monday 12Z to Tuesday 12Z. That could be all frozen in parts of Northwest Arkansas. Anytime you have a day 5 marginal, that's bad news. That shows you have heavy rain with freezing rain potential, and that could lead to some significant icing. So Alex said a good question. Why are you, let's see here, why don't you favor the euro? Because the euro is typically known to not be cold enough in this type of environment. It just doesn't. And if it's not cold enough, then this precipitation that's showing up doesn't show much at all because it's above freezing. Now, the deal is that the icing could be significant. So did it glitch again? It did a little bit, didn't it? But it's not as bad.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
little
behaving. It's behaving. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it a wide view. Okay, I'm going to do it a wide view so people don't kind of freak out. But these are the ice accumulation totals according to the latest 12Z European. Notice how it doesn't have anything Sunday, nothing into Monday. But here comes that icing, and then it's above freezing for us, and then everything's fine. But the big system comes in according to the European on Wednesday. This is when that icing really starts to pile up. Now you can see that is only 1/100th of an inch in Fayetteville. But there's pretty significant icing in parts of Newton County, Madison County, and Newton and Boone County. So in the higher elevations of the Ozark Mountains. That's what that shows. And then we've got the GFS that's going to be a little bit more substantial. And remember, the reason that is, it's because it's got colder air, which leads to ice accumulation faster. Look at that. It already starts showing some icing Sunday night. And then here's Monday. Look at Monday piling up. And then watch this. Tuesday, more icing. Now, the problem is that I'm going to take this off the screen. And this could shift. But this is a similar pattern to what happened in 2009. And I think that's why the analogs are showing that. That is almost the exact track of the icing that took place. It extended from Northwest Arkansas through southeast Missouri, through western Kentucky, southern Illinois. That's almost identical. And that's the GFS that shows that. So we don't have amounts on there because, let's face it, it's still a ways out. But look, even more ice comes in. And then even more ice comes in. And so this is just a computer model, and it's a ways out. In terms of long-range forecasting, we're probably 3/4 of the way up the Plinko board. There's no telling which hole that puck is going to drop, essentially. But if we look at a little more of a zoomed-in view, you want to do that? Yep. Let's do a little more of a zoomed-in view. European zoomed-in view. There's a look at some icing accumulations. So again, we're not saying this is exactly what's going to happen. But what we are saying is the potential is there for significant icing. Let me bring that up full. And again, I just preface this. This is not our forecast. And I'm not posting this on social media. Of course, it doesn't matter. I'm doing it live, and so people can see it. But there you go. And that's a lot of ice. And then if we look at the GFS for, this is for ice and snow, because it won't just be all ice. It'll also be some snow as well. And see, this is why we've got an ice and snow graphic. So the ice is on the left, the snow is on the right. Made this graphic today, did some altercations to it. And then watch this as the snow starts piling up on top of the ice. More systems coming in, multiple waves of energy. It's going to be a fine line. This can all shift to the south a little bit from this system rolling through. So needless to say, there's a lot of details that need to be ironed out, and it's going to take a little while to do it. Oh, I do want to show you this real quick, the graph. The graph already has icing that's occurring on Sunday night as freezing drizzle. So watch this here. Anything you want to add, Zach?
Yeah, I was just thinking, with the freezing rain happening, eventually that's going to turn to snow, right?
Yeah.
as the freezing rain kind of cools the column. A
Exactly.
little bit of evaporation going
Freezing
on
rain
there.
cools the column, and the column gets the cold air at the surface gets deeper
Yeah,
because there will be a persistent southerly flow.
so in the, like the
I
back
mean, northerly flow.
in the back of
Excuse
my
me.
mind,
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking that Wednesday deal might be less ice and more sleet and snow, and the Monday deal might be potentially more freezing rain, ice. But we are still in this southwest flow pattern. So even if the freezing rain cools the column, and then we have a break in the action, then we have more southwest flow, it could make that cold layer not as deep.
That is correct. Sir.
So it's just so that is the reason why this pattern is just really hard.
Yeah, very, very difficult pattern.
forecast.
All right. We've got some time for comments here. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Let's get to some comments here. By the way, who you got for the Super Bowl? You know, I will say this. I like the Chiefs. Eagles are okay. But I will say this: there's a player on the Eagles team that actually ended up going to prom, either prom or homecoming, with a high school girl who's a big fan of his. I can't remember the player for now, but unfortunately, her dad and her grandfather died all within like a month, and so it's super sad. And it wasn't a homecoming. It was a like father. It was a father-daughter dance, and she didn't have anybody to go with.
Oh,
And this guy from the Eagles, I heard it on KLRC on positive a positive story, and it was really cool. And so I'm like, you know, gosh, that makes me want to cheer for the Eagles when someone does something.
kind
like
of. I
that.
don't wonder who that player was.
Yeah, if someone knows, you can let me know. So, how about them Hogs, man? Razorback basketball heating up. Saturday will be fine. It'll be cold, and it'll be getting colder, and it'll be really cold when you leave Bud Walton Arena. Baseball is still up in the air. I don't think it's going to be super warm. It may still be snowing on Friday with all these systems coming in. So let's see here. Miana. Yeah. Brian's a good guy. He's just he likes to stir the pot a little bit. Who made Elsa mad again? No kidding, man. She needs to let it go. In other words, get your milk and bread. Groundhog was right. Groundhog was right. Punxsutawney Phil. We knew that too, though. We actually thought there would be more winter. Getting Edward mad. It's fine. Brian just likes to stir the pot a little bit. Let's see. Euro has an insane warm bias. That's right. Yeah, you can insult me all you want. Got some thick skin. I don't care. I take that back. Sometimes I do. But, GFS is actually handling the cold air properly. Model Run is in trouble. I don't know if you ever saw that. Now I owe him $8.99. Is this after inflation?
Yeah, right.
That's interest.
From a concert way back in the day.
Back
in like '94.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh man. Let's see. 2009 comparison. We did this last time. There is definitely a good comparison between the two in terms of the upper level pattern. You know, I like to see these Russian models. I've never even really been able to see them or access them. I haven't looked into it, but might not be a bad idea to look at. Why not?
Yeah.
Wonder what the Spire model is saying.
Man,
why do we always forget that? Yeah. Moisture going to funnel in, southwest flow weather pattern. Let's see here. Could this be a record breaker? Well, we had it today. It was a record breaking. You know, a lot of people do compare ice storms to, you know, the typical, the catastrophic 2009 ice storm. Zach, it was wild. It was crazy. I remember it like it was yesterday. We had just a tremendous amount of rain. I can actually show you a good satellite radar, or just a good loop, a radar loop.
I think I've seen this. I think you might have showed me one time.
I'm sure I have. Probably like 10 times
Yeah.
while we have to get our show ready, right?
Like, wait, watch
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Like, hey, Zach's like crunching away, and I'm just like, yeah, check this out, man. This is wild. We're gonna do this. I'll bring it up when I get it loaded. But this is the. Let's see if it loads up the whole thing. Yep. Oh man. So that is it. Let's go through this whole thing. Go back to the very beginning. Whoop. Yeah, stop the loop speed here. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can. Is it going to slow? Okay, it did slow the loop speed. All right, standing by, loading this up. I'll work on the buttons, Zach. Let me get better at the buttons. All right.
I like the buttons.
I know you do. Share. Okay. Here is. Oh boy. Let me see if I can zoom in on that a little bit. Hey, there we go. The 2009 ice storm. See if I can get to the. Got to get to the controls down here. Okay. So here we have the 2009 ice storm. We'll get back to the very beginning here as it loops. But this was January 26th through the 28th of 2009. Now remember, the temperatures were pretty darn cold. They were in the mid to lower 20s. I don't think we're going to be that cold. I still think we're going to be a little below freezing. But once you get to that 26, 27 time frame, that's when things really start to happen. So we're going to speed this up just a little bit. Probably went a little too long because it doesn't go through the 29. Okay, so here we go. We're starting off the 26th. Everything's quiet in the morning, kind of like Monday. Now we're starting to see just a little bit of light rain popping up. And now at this point, it's freezing rain, but it's not significant. And the roads were fine when I came into work the 26th. But we were starting to see freezing rain. Now it's still not bad, but all of a sudden later on in the night, here comes that upper level lift, and now we start cranking up the icing. So this happens the evening of the 26th into the morning of the 27th. We get a break. This is some heavy precipitation that's freezing rain. I remember we had a break during the early morning hours. There's the break. Thinking, okay, this won't be terrible. Then there were pockets of heavy rain that happened. Then during daybreak, there really wasn't a whole lot going on, as you can tell. But once that started to fill back in, this is when things went really downhill. So this was the morning of the 27th. Not too many power outages at this point, but they were starting. And look at that lift, Zach, over the area, that positively tilted trough. Look at the strength of that precipitation, almost like convective in nature.
Yeah, there's some reds in there.
And that's still cranking up. Now, during the evening, look at that. See, this is what I mean by all of those fine scale, mesoscale meteorology features coming together. This right here during the afternoon is when things really started to drop, like power lines, all that stuff. Now, look, it's still producing heavy precipitation, and it's still going. And that just continued throughout the night. So this is the night. Now we're getting power lines dropping everywhere. There's exploding power lines. We're hearing them everywhere. And then finally that evening, it came to a stop, and it was an eerie calm. And then this little band on the backside produced a mesoscale band of really heavy snow. It doesn't look that bad, but boy, I'm telling you, I was driving through it because look at the time, 5:23. It was about midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning. It took me 2 hours to get home because there were trees down in every direction I turned. And then finally that moved out. So if we want, let's do this. Let's look at the upper air, and we can look at the 300 millibars. And here we go with the 300 millibars. So this is look at that, southwest flow. You got the positively tilted trough, just like what we drew. And then you can see that jet stream energy swinging in. Now, unlike the 26th through the 28th, 2009 ice storm, there's probably going to be additional energy. on the back side of this, because this just kind of translates eastward, and then that was the end of the system. Let's go to the vorticity, and you can really see the amount of vorticity coming in. So here's a look at the there we go. Vorticity. There's the big energy. Look at ahead of it. Remember, there's already precipitation out ahead of it. And then look at that positively tilted trough. Just tremendous. Now, I think that lift is a little stronger than what we saw because it's 30. So let's do this. Let's go back to, it was eerily quiet. It really was. And then you'd hear a tree snap and then it wasn't quiet anymore. So let's do this real fast. Let's look at the, let's look at that vorticity map again and lay it out and see what we've got, Zach. So not quite as strong, but it's getting there. Right there. So that's Wednesday, according to the European. And we look and go back. Pretty darn similar, man. So let me do this real fast. We'll put them side by side. It's pretty similar.
Yeah. And that's for Wednesday. But remember, it's just a model.
That's right. It's just, well, this is just a model on the left. This is reality on the right.
Yeah.
That's what actually happened. And then finally, we'll do one thing. We'll look at the upper air analysis. And no, we'll do the, surface analysis. Take that back. I'm going to do something else here. Satellite surface composite. This is what we're looking at. So the cold air arrived a couple days before, and it was just entrenched over the area. And that shows you the front was way south. Now, I remember correctly, the models were way too warm the weekend before the ice storm. Way too warm. And guess what? That might be what we're dealing with the models this time. So there's a lot going on. I'm not saying that this is going to happen and be like 2009, but the models are saying that there's similarities because they can compare the upper level patterns and see that. But, it all depends on exactly where that precipitation develops, the cold air. I don't think our temperatures are going to be as cold as you saw, mid to lower 20s. That just means everything that falls immediately sticks. Looks like we got an accident on iDrive.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you missed it, we've got our newscast coming up here on KNWA News at 10. I could just sum it up real quick because I'm going to have to shut this down here. But this is what we're looking at. Colder weather continues throughout the week into the weekend. Got Sonia joining the studio here, getting ready for our newscast. So we have been live for about 40 minutes. Any questions that you have that we need to answer?
Me?
Sonia, yeah, about the weather.
When is the ice going to start?
It's a good question. Depends on where you live. If you live in Boone or Newton County, I think the ice starts on Sunday night as a little bit of freezing drizzle.
I think so.
Yeah. But around here, it's probably going to be Monday evening. Monday evening. Yep.
So what is Super Bowl Sunday looking like?
Super Bowl Sunday is going to be cold. Temperatures are probably going to be in the mid to upper 30s by kickoff.
So you don't want to be outside.
Don't want to be outside. Don't want to have an outdoor. Don't want to have an outdoor watch party. No.
But what about grilling outside?
Well, probably there will be people doing that. It'll take a while for the grill to warm up. But you know what? There's no bad weather for grilling, Zach.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's always room for grilling. So
Put a jacket on, you'll be fine.
Josh does need to go to bed. Patrick Meredith, our assignments editor. He said, Josh, go to bed. All right, guys. Well, we've got to shut it down. So then after that, the system comes through. I'll give you a quick taste of the forecast. This is the tonight and tomorrow graphic. So tonight we're looking at, you can fire up the lights. Mid 40s. Are we already in the 30s, Zach, in some locations? We'll see.
Check it out.
So we got some drizzle potentially, some patchy fog. Tomorrow our high is going to be ranging from 46 to 49, but there could even be a larger range of temperatures. it's tough to get that range. I mean, seriously, it's so widespread. And then still some shower potential. I don't know if it's enough to put on weather rate. And then let's see what our temperatures are right now.
Yeah, check them out.
Oh, upper 30s.
Oh man, Fayetteville,
That's colder,
46.
of course. Yeah.
Guys, I have a final question before y'all wrap up.
All right. Yes.
Tomorrow is the Send It South Festival in Bentonville. What can attendees expect for the Send It South Festival?
Send it south. They can expect that cold front to send the cold air south. Honestly, it looks pretty chilly. I'm going to say lower to middle 40s. And what time is that festival?
I'm not sure, but we'll be live there tomorrow at 5 and 6 for sure.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, how about 40 degrees with a wind chill of around freezing?
Whoa.
Yeah, so bundle up.
And maybe some freezing, or not freezing, but some drizzle.
Yeah, some drizzle.
Maybe a few showers.
Stuff like that.
Good to know.
And runs 2 miles in the cold. We did that. We ran in the snow too. That was fun. And ran up some big old hills. Yo, what up? Hey, do you want to ask the 8-ball? We'll do a quick 8-ball
You get it
question.
out?
Yep,
Alright.
get it out. I'll fire up the forecast here. So tune in to KNWA News at 10 for the latest forecast. We'll have that 7-day to give you the latest details. Gonna fire it up here. Will there be significant icing enough to cause power outages in Northwest Arkansas? In our weather coverage area somewhere?
Big question.
That is a big question. That's a loaded one, and we're doing it right now. Ask again later, of course. Why? Every time. Will the Chiefs win the Super Bowl? Better not tell you now. This thing, man, I'll tell you. It's a finicky 8-ball. Last one. Zach, you got a question?
Will it be colder than what the models show?
Okay. Come on. No. So better not tell you now.
Come on.
Give me a good answer here. Outlook good.
Well, all right.
Mhm. Outlook good.
So colder than
Okay. Will the freezing rain go farther south and give us more sleet and snow in Northwest Arkansas?
this question.
Ask again later. Come on. 8-ball is pretty cranky. So, all right. Well, take care, guys. No Facebook Live after the 10. We already covered everything. We'll have new models tomorrow. We'll keep you in the know. But until then, you have a great rest of your Thursday. Take care. Watch KNWA News at 10, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.